Hello, welcome to Keto Corner. This is a new segment on Happiness Hunch where I talk all about keto. I am an intermittent fasting and keto coach, and I've been doing keto for 2 years, and I've noticed so many benefits from doing this. I wanted to share those first as a way of beginning this series of videos. And there are so many benefits that I actually had to divide them up into categories. I thought today I would do the health ones first because they're the most important. And off the top, at the very top, I should say, is the brain. And I noticed a number of things with the brain. The first thing is just a complete lift in brain fog. I had been experiencing brain fog kind of as the years go up. In my 40s, the most, and heading towards 50, it was getting increasingly worse. And on keto, the brain fog really has gone away. The only time I experience brain fog is when I go back to grains or go back to sugar. Then I will experience it again. Along with that, I have a tremendous amount of just mental clarity. Like my mind just feels very clear and ready for thinking. And that's an amazing feeling too. The other thing along with the brain is I would say that I feel like I have a heightened mental capacity. In other words, I feel like I can think more deeply about things, and I also feel like I can think more creatively about things. So those are 3 brain things that I just love. Another benefit would be strength. I just feel stronger. I was starting to, as I was getting closer to 50, starting to feel weak, starting to feel like I'm going to have to slow down. I am slowing down. And I just feel a tremendous amount of strength. Stamina. I was losing stamina too. I started thinking I'm going to be doing less in my days. I just don't have the stamina, the energy to do things and to go for a long period of time with a sustained output. And that has completely gone away too, reversed by many, many years. And like I said, more energy. I'm ready to do things. I was starting to think like I need to take shortcuts in cleaning. I need to take shortcuts in laundry. I was searching for all kinds of shortcuts in life because I just didn't have the energy for living. Weight loss. So I've lost somewhere between 22 and 25 pounds. I stopped weighing myself at 158 because I didn't want to see 160. And that may not really sound like much. You know, I'm like 5'8". But I've always been very weight conscious, have always exercised. So when I saw 158, which was probably right around when I turned 48, right before starting keto, I just was like, oh man. And so I would only weigh myself if I felt lighter, if I knew I wasn't bloated, if I knew, like all the stars were aligning, then I would weigh myself. And I topped out at 158 doing that. So I never weighed myself when I was suspicious of being, at a higher number. So, and that's a big deal. And I can go on and on about that. Mentally, that did all kinds of things for me, and I was worried about it because my youngest child is 12. And so for the last 12 years since he was born, I've been trying to lose the baby weight, trying to lose the extra pounds. And it just was not coming off. So, in fact, my body mass index was in the overweight category, not far into the overweight category, but now it is solidly into the normal weight category. And, weight is something that we look at in terms of health. It's one of the biomarkers. So it's a very important thing, to try to want to be in that normal range. Also, this is kind of a weird one, but improved hearing. Over the last couple years before starting keto, I was noticing that my hearing was just cloudy, kind of, if you can think of that in a hearing sort of way instead of vision. I would go to parties, and if there was a lot of people talking, I struggled like crazy to hear people. And I'm just not really experiencing that anymore. So it's kind of a strange one, but I'm definitely noticing some hearing improvement. And I was thinking, I have a dad who's hard of hearing. He worked around heavy, noisy equipment his whole life. But I was starting to think, wow, maybe, there's something genetic to this, that there's an issue there with hearing. So, but I've definitely noticed an improvement, and one that I really welcomed. Um, Lymph flow. So I noticed when I breastfed my 4 children, and I noticed that I had um, inflammation in my lymph glands in my armpits. So they would be swollen, and this really made me nervous because it was pretty swollen. And so after I had Seth, so he's 12, I started taking chlorophyll, and that really helped. I noticed it went down about half, I would say. And there was no tenderness at that point, so I was a lot less concerned. But with keto, I have none. No tenderness, no swollenness, nothing at all. So I feel like my lymph is moving well. And, and in spite of eating dairy, we do eat dairy on our keto diet. You don't have to. A lot of people have problems with dairy, but we do eat it. And I thought maybe that would be something I might notice, that might affect that. Thyroid healing. I'm going to say more about this in another section, but suffice to say that there's different signs of a well-working thyroid gland, and one is hair. It's related to hair, and for almost my whole life, I hardly had any hair on my legs, only down like by my ankles. So it was nice for shaving, but I didn't hardly have any hair, and now I am shaving a whole lot more. So and there are other signs too. That my thyroid is definitely working better, and I'm really excited about that. I've been concerned about that for years, like all through my 30s even, I was concerned about that. So that's like 20-some years I've been concerned. The other thing I've noticed is with my heart. My heart just feels stronger. I used to experience flutters, like really like a rapid heartbeat or racing heartbeat, little flutters. I also had experienced big breaks between heartbeats. And heartbeats that clustered together. So just irregular heartbeats. And I don't notice that hardly at all. The only time I notice that, again, is if I go off of keto and I'm into grains or eating sugar. Maybe if I have a really high stress event, I might notice something with that too. I think the heart is very much affected by stress. Breathing. I was noticing as I was turning 50 that I would get out of breath more easily. And I just felt like I had less capacity in my lungs for breathing. And now I feel very open. I feel like I have a great capacity. I'm not finding myself short of breath, in doing smaller things, going up steps and stuff like that. So that was really exciting. Vision. What I noticed with vision is, and I was kind of hoping that maybe I would not need throw away my reading glasses. I haven't been able to do that. But what I have noticed is that the letters on the page are not vibrating the way they used to. So I have stable vision is how I would describe it. So I am still needing reading glasses. I've been using them for a number of years. But that instability made me nervous because I thought maybe that would get to where I can't read at all. And I love reading. So that would really be torture for me. So I was excited about that. Then menopause. So like I said, I'm 52 now, and well, there's a lot going on with me in menopause. I don't want to go into the whole story, but suffice to say for this video that I do not have hot flashes and I am not experiencing dryness. So ladies, it's a big deal. I know menopause is a big deal for a lot of people. And I started having symptoms like premenopausal around 48, and I'm certainly in it right now. Don't want to go into all the details, but that's an important benefit that I noticed. Knee and hip pain. I used to go to the chiropractor ever since I had kids, carrying a child around on one hip or the other. I used to go to the chiropractor all the time for hip pain, and over the years, so my oldest child is 21, and so for a lot of years I did chiropractic. I haven't been lately, and I am not experiencing any hip pain. And knee pain is kind of a newer thing, and I only experience that again when I have sugar, when I have carbs. That's when I experience it. And hip pain I really haven't been experiencing hardly at all. So, but the knee pain I'll notice when I go to walk or get on the treadmill or exercise. I'll have some, but it's always associated with higher carbs. Dental health. This is an exciting one. So for a number of years, my dentist was watching a particular tooth, and it would show up on the x-ray with some pink on it, and he was like, well, we're just going to he's a natural dentist, so he's hesitant to drill and fill, which is the way most dentists are sort of thinking. So he hesitates, and he does believe that cavities can be healed. And so he just kept watching it. And in the last 2 years, while I've been on keto, he just stopped watching it altogether. He doesn't even bring it up at my appointments. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, he didn't come out and say, oh, your cavity's healed, but he's not even talking about it. So I guess that means it's healed. It's good. And then the last thing I wanted to mention for this video is sleep. My sleep is better. I am sleeping more soundly, and I don't need as much. And a part of that reason, too, is because, Mike is also doing keto, maybe not as deeply as I am, but he's doing keto, too, and he's not snoring. And he used to tell me, prior to keto, that every once in a while I would snore. And I'm just not doing that. And he's not snoring, and we're both sleeping so much better. So aren't those pretty awesome? That's a lot of benefits. And I'm not even sure I got them all, I'll be honest. I'll have to keep adding to this list. So that's 18 things I mentioned. 18 benefits that I've noticed in the last 2 years. And honestly, lots of these I noticed very early on. So it's really super exciting. I'm so glad that you joined me. I'd love to hear if you have experienced these same benefits or different benefits. Leave me your comments on this. What you think, and if you're excited, or any of these things are things that you're really looking to experience yourself. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.